I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. We kind of worked on this a little bit at the last minute. After we had some questions about the forum. I want to thank Shonda for getting the Y first tonight, and also with the chamber working with us to get the program going. I want to thank Mike Peterson tonight for emceeing for us. He does a good job on this. As I said a while ago, we're going to kind of change it around a little bit. How many people here that not in contested race? Not in contested race. Okay. You're going to speak for? Okay. You're not with? No. Okay, they decided we'd have that first, so if you guys want to come up first and say who you are and what candidate you are running for, then we'll have that first, and then we'll go ahead with the others. So, who wants to be first? You want to be first?
Okay, very good. Thank you very much, Marshall Knuckles of the Farm Bureau. Let's give Farm Bureau a big hand tonight. Just a little before we get started, we have almost as many candidates up here as in the first Republican presidential debate. But there's one big difference. We don't expect any fist fights or name calling or anything like that because we have ladies and gentlemen up here who know how to behave themselves. That's my editorial for tonight. All right, we're going to get started, as you mentioned, with the uncontested candidates. I'd appreciate it, and Frank Phillips from the Times would appreciate it if you would use the microphone because he's recording off that speaker over there. So if you'll speak into the microphone, we'll all be able to hear better, and he'll get what he needs to publish every word you say in the newspaper. So who's first up to bat here?
I'll go first.
All right. Please just introduce yourself, what you're running for, and you've got about a minute. And if you go over a minute, Chandra, with her taser gun, no, we'll sign and let you know.
She told me I could have more than a minute if I wanted.
Okay, I'll leave that up to her.
Hi, my name is Kim Fiddler. I'm running for state representative in District 44. I currently live in Greencastle, Indiana. So running against Jim Baird, I decided to do so because I was not happy about some things from public education to the roads. So I think that there are a lot of things that we need to get done, and I'll probably be very busy just reversing some of the laws that have passed. So I appreciate the opportunity to introduce myself and to hopefully get to know you in the coming months. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Tim Skinner.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. My name is Tim Skinner. I'm a former state senator, former school teacher, and served in the state senate for 12 years. I am running for House District 42, which is currently held by Representative Alan Morrison. There's some things that I definitely would change. I think I have a much stronger stance on public education. I think we all need to talk to the people who run our schools, who work in our schools, to see if the current policies from the current administration are doing our schools any good, our teachers any good, and our children any good. And I think if you have that conversation with them, you'll find out that much of what is happening in Indianapolis has hurt our public schools, and I intend to, help restore schools to where the funding they used to have and the credibility that they used to have as well. And thank you for this opportunity. I appreciate this.
All right, who's next?
I am Diane Deerdorf, and my husband is Joseph Deerdorf, and he is running for clerk. He was unable to be here today. Yesterday he had surgery on his foot, and so he's recovered from that. But he loves serving the public and doing anything that he can do to help people within the courthouse solve problems, and he wants to continue doing that, and so he's running for clerk. Joe Deerdorf.
I'm Amy Ellen Knox Jordan, and I'm running for county clerk. I have 17 years of experience in the clerk's office, and I believe that I can continue to move the clerk's office forward and bring it into a more modern and experience and more modern technology, and bring it into that kind of a experience with that. Thank you.
Is that everyone who's running uncontested? Oh, we got one more. We're going. How could I miss that with the quote time and name tag?
Brad was almost sitting in the kitchen.
My name's Jim Bowman. I'm previously County Commissioner in District 2. I'll be running again for a 4-year term. I've lived in Clay County my whole life, all 66 years, and I tell people, most of us been on the same 40 acres in Jackson Township, so know a lot of people here, know how the people think. This is an opportunity to serve, and basically you've got two thoughts. You either become a servant or you want somebody to serve you, and that's not me. I want to be a servant. This gives me that opportunity, and although I do not have an opponent, I really still appreciate your vote because it's a vote of support, and that's good to know, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim. Is there anyone else that's running unopposed who wants to say something tonight? Okay. Our primary election is just 3 weeks from today, so it's a good time that we're going to have tonight. Now, before we get started with the questioning and answering, of course, I'm not with Fox News or CNN. The questions won't be asked by me, they'll be asked by you, but in the form of a written card. And Sean has passed out the cards that each of you can write questions to any candidates you wish to ask them to. And while we're having each of our candidates introduce themselves, take a minute or so to do that. Go ahead and write your questions out, and Chandra will come out and pick them up, and then we'll get started after everyone has had a chance to make their initial about 1 minute introduction. So we'll start way down here on the east end of the table.
You get to go first. Oh, good. Hey.
Get turned on. Okay, thank you. My name is Brad Johnson. I am running for County Council at Large position. And I look forward to being able to meet and greet many of the residents here in Clay County. I've had an opportunity so far to be all the way up north in Carbon, and I've been all the way down south, Jasonville. And I look forward to doing that farther along during the summer. And I am a lifelong resident of Clay County, born and raised here, raised a family here. Unfortunately, you know, my children, like many of other as children, they've completed high school, college, and had to leave the county because the jobs aren't here. And that's one of the reasons that I'd like to run and make a difference in this community and give back and serve this community. And with the opportunities that I had as a child growing up and as a young adult, I feel like that qualification-wise, I've worked nearly 20 years at Ivy Tech Community College. I got a degree at Indiana State University in education. So, Kim, I understand a lot of the issues with the educators, so I do understand a lot of that. Many aspects of jobs at Ivy Tech. I've been manager of a campus. I've worked with the state legislators, with Amos Thomas. I've worked with Jim Baird and Nancy Michael, all of those in creating and getting funds for a new facility that they have there at Greencastle. So know a lot of that aspect and what it takes and what kind of work it does take to get those kinds of funds accumulated and through that process. So I look forward to a summer of meeting and talking with many of the community members about what their concerns are and what we can do and what I can do to help them to make a difference here in our county. I turned it off.
Okay. Just look at it.
Hi, everybody. First of all, thanks to the Farm Bureau and the Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event. As I look out, I know almost all of you. I'm assuming you know me and Mike McCullough. I've lived in Clay County my entire life. I've been on the county council for 19 years. I really enjoy it. I love working with the other elected officials, and I can tell you our community is very blessed to have really good, honest, dedicated people working in the courthouse. And I enjoy it very, very much. I think my experience on the council is a real asset to the group. I will say, for those of you that don't know, there's 7 members on the county council. 4 of those members serve a particular district, and 3 serve at large. And the 3 at-large members are on the ballot this year. The district members ran 2 years ago. So when you go to vote, of course, in the primary, you have to pull a Republican or a Democrat ballot, but you have the opportunity to vote for 3, because there will be 3 council members elected in the fall. Hopefully, I'll be one of them. I can tell you, I've seen a big change in the years that I've been there, and other elected officials that are currently serving will tell you that it's just like trying to keep your budget in the black at home. I mean, it gets harder and harder all the time, you know. And it's the same way with running the county and being fiscally conservative and solid. It's very difficult. I mean, at budget time every year, it's really, really difficult. And but, you know, unlike the federal government, we can't pick up the phone and call China and borrow money. We have to balance our budget, and we do. And I'm happy to tell you that our county is in very solid shape financially. Over the last 3 or 4 years, we've actually grown our fund balances. We went through some tough years there when we had that bad recession, but we've bounced back now, and we're in really good shape. So I would appreciate your support, and thanks for being here.
Hello, my name is Larry Wyndham. Like many of you here, I'm a lifelong resident of Clay County. Lived here, I was going to tell my age, but 57 years. Been married to my wife for 38 years. Got 2 children, born and raised in Clay County. And I'm running for county council at large. Not to really make a big change. I think we're doing a good job, but I want to get involved. There's always room for improvement. I've had a business in Clay County for over 30 plus years, running a private business. I think that gives me a lot of experience in making financial decisions. We're still in business, so I must have made some decisions correctly. But I just appreciate your support, and I look forward to serving the county.
My name is Pat Hefner, and I'm running for council at large. I'm finishing my first term, but I've been very lucky to have other members who have served on the council for many, many years, and it's really helped me. So I would like a second term, and probably my last term, but I thought being on the city council for 17 years, well, it's different, the finances for the county. But I wanted to thank 3 people who've been on there, longevity, Tony Carter and Larry Moss and Mike McCullough. They've been on there for a long time, and they've been a big help to me. So I would appreciate your vote, and I've enjoyed the past 4 years.
Thank you, Pat. My name is Earl Hutchison, running for County Council at Large. Born and raised here in the city of Brazil, and been in public service since 1995, serving in the volunteer fire departments, rescue departments, and different things around the county, involved in a lot of the community. Married to Lori. She's my wife and works for Dr. Rogers Veterinary Hospital. Been married 34 years, and she's the love of my life. And also I have a son, Tyler, who was city council here in Brazil for 4 years, and works out on the road quite a bit. He's had a big influence on my life also, and a son, Seth. And I want to serve the community here. I've been, as I said, a public servant here in the community for several years, and I want to continue to do that, and maybe a little different level by the way of serving on the county council. I think I have the ability to work with both Democrats and Republicans. I see people that need help all the time. It doesn't matter who they are. I try to help them, and I believe I can take that to the county council also. I think you're wonderfully blessed with some very qualified people that have been on there for a number of years, doing a great job. Thankful for Pat for her years of service, not only to the county council, but to city council. These people are very valuable in your community, and you've got some very qualified people running for county council this year. And I'd just like to have your support when you go out to vote. Thank you.
My name's John. My name's John Nickerson, and I'm on the county council right now, and I'm running for another term on the county council. I live on Highway 59, just south of 46. I'm from the Saline City area, and there's a lot of us Nickersons down there in that area. But anyway, I was born and raised there. I went to Asheboro School till they didn't have a high school to go to. I went to Clay City, graduated from Clay City. At that time, I went to the Vietnam War, served in Vietnam with the 101st Airborne Division, and I was an infantry recon scout, trained at Fort Polk, Louisiana. Come back, I went to work for Peabody Coal Company, and was in Local 1216 out here, and I took a supervisor's job. I was probably 23 years old at the time. But anyway, I worked for Peabody and went to work for AMAX. And I spent 26 years for AMAX as a supervisor of maintenance over heavy drag lines, shop facilities, welding, and that kind of thing. A lot of management went into that, what we did. When AMAX was sold out, I went to work for Hammond Custodes down here, which they built coal-fired generators all over the world. I went to work for them, put in 10 years, and then I retired. And then I decided to run for the Sugar Ridge Township Board, which I was elected. And next election come along, I ran for the county council and was elected to the county council. I am a member of the Saline City Church, undenominational, American Legion, VFW, Disabled American Veterans, and about everything else they have. So anyway, I am a farmer. I own farmland, farmland. I do know the problems that the farmers have, and I deal with it too. So that's me, and I guess that's it. Thank you very much. Appreciate everybody's vote.
Thank you. We'll move now to the west end of the table, and as we get down closer to the end, now that Chandra's finished her cooking, she'll be around to pick up any questions that you have so that we can go through those and get started. So I'll give this microphone to you. Now we'll just keep going this way.
Good evening. My name is John Driscoll. I'm a candidate for County Commission District 1. I just retired after 35 years with Duke Energy last year, and I'm originally from Northwest Indiana. Went to college at Tri-State University in Angola and got located with Duke down here in 1983. Community involvement-wise, I spent 6 years on the Community Foundation Board, was president of the Chamber of Commerce, also here, and then president of our local Elks Lodge. And with being retired now, I'm just looking forward to dedicate myself to serving the people of Clay County as a county commissioner, and would very much like to have your vote on election day. Thank you.
I'm Brian Elder. I am Commissioner of District 1. I'm running again for re-election. Pretty well lived here in Clay County my whole life. Grew up with my family had a tractor trailer, a horse trailer factory on 59 for 25 years. Ended up selling that, and I went in business for myself. I have Allender Trucking. Married for 16 years. Got a wonderful son. He's 15, and I'm planning on trying to get reelected to do another 4 years to work for my family and all that.
Good evening. I am Patricia Nicole Keller. I'm running for recorder. I live here in Clay County with my husband Ryan and our 2 children. I work currently for First Financial Bank, but before that I worked for Senior Title for about 3.5 years. So a bulk of my time was spent in the recorder's office, so I do have experience there. And I was also given the opportunity to index for the current recorder. I'd like to start a job in public service, and that's why I chose to run.
I'd like to thank you all for being here. My name is Steve Garlitz. I'm
also a candidate for county recorder. I was born on a farm south of Clay City and lived there as a young child and moved up to the Brazil area and lived the rest of my life up here. I graduated Brazil High School, Ivy Tech in the ISU in construction technology. I currently work as what's called a clerk of the works, which oversees school construction projects, which I'm currently doing one in northern Indiana right now. Involves a lot of record keeping and tracking of what goes on in the project and assurance of the quality of the work. I also have been a member of the Brazil concert band. Now this will be my 43rd season coming up that I've played in the concert band. And I also been a member of the Jackson Township band for the last 36 years. So obviously I still have a lot of activities within the community. Even right now I'm not working in the county itself. So just thank you all for being here and I appreciate your vote. Thanks.
Stretching it out. Hello, my name's Brad Deal, and I'm running for Clay County Recorder also. Whenever I look around these walls here and stuff, so this reminds me of my first years as doing public service. I started out at 16 years old coaching at the YMCA. Probably either coached some of your kids or some of you, I don't know. But that's when I started out. Started out with coaching, refereeing. I was a site director here at the YMCA. Once I got involved in public service, loved it. And 1 year I ran for school board, and I'm thanking God still today that I lost. But after that point, I was asked by the then Mayor, Kenny Crabb, if I'd be interested in being on the park board. Boy, was I fortunate. God blessed me really big with that one because I ended up with a fantastic group of ladies that I worked with. Well, Linda, you're sitting back there. I see Linda Besmer, Ruth Ann Jeffries, Caroline McCullough. And off of them, I learned a lot, an awful lot about public service and what is expected of you by the public. Since then, I ended up running for city council. I am currently on my 9th year. I was just reelected this past year to the city council. And we've been doing some great things in the city. The mayor sitting back there, really proud of the group that we have now on council, the direction we're going with the town. But I felt like it was time to try to maybe move on, get into something more permanent, because I enjoy public service. I enjoy working with people, talking to people, trying to help people with their problems. And, that's to me what life's all about. As it was said earlier, you're either going to serve or be served. And I think being a server is what you need to do. That's what this country's made out of. If you're going to be, if you're going to be a part of the solution, then get out and work and be a part of the solution. Thank you.
Thank you. To the Chamber and the Farm Bureau, I thank you for setting this forum up. As a candidate for county office, I would like to think I'm well known, but that's not necessarily the case. So I'm going to give you a little bio on my life as a candidate and that for county recorder. Born and raised here in Brazil, graduated from this place right here a few years ago. I went in service for 4 years in the Air Force, returned and went to work at Allison's in Indianapolis. Took an early out up there and wound up working for the county on the reassessment of 93, 94. And wound up running for assessor and did that for 3 terms. I made a mistake after that 3 terms, one a major mistake in my life. I thought I was ready to retire, but I'm not comfortable being retired particularly. So I'm running for recorder with the idea that it would be great for my wife to get me out of the house also. But I'm looking for support. If you don't have a candidate that you're committed to, I would appreciate your support. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We've heard from each of the candidates now in an introductory fashion. We have a few cards up here where people have written down some questions. You can still do that as we approach this part of our session tonight. And I don't think it'll take us too long. We should be out by about 10 o'clock. This first question is to anyone or all on the county council and our state candidates who'd like to address it. Do you support Senate Bill 308 on agriculture property taxes? Who'd like to tackle that one?
My opinion, farm ground, is that what you're talking about? Well, farm ground has went clear out of kilter as far as property taxes go. When you pay them, I pay them, and you watch, they're just going way up here, and here comes residential and your business. And I had a discussion today about that with a farmer, their area farmer. And what's going to happen over that, Jim Beard told me that they were going to do that, and what's going to go from here, I have no idea. The rest of the columns, I guess, are going to be brought up to where it's even again, or, is fair. But property taxes on farm grounds went clear out, and everybody knows what the prices of crops are right now. So that's about all I can say. It's just something the state did. It affects them.
Well, for those who own residences, of course, our property taxes have actually gone down, and that's why farm taxes have gone up.
I got two homes that I own right there on 59, and I know what you're saying. I see both sides.
Does anybody else want to address this issue on farm property taxes? Going? Okay. This next question is to Commissioner Allender. So, when we were out here at the table, tell us about the good things that have happened in the last 4 years.
In the last 4 years in Clay County, we have worked really hard on trying to do the roads and the ditching and getting rid of all the berms. At the county, we've acquired a new machine where we can go down and cut the berm and ditch all out at the same time, load it in a truck. And we can do like 100 miles we did that one summer. And that's really 200 miles of ditch in a single summer. I mean, we're only working with 16 people down the county highway, and they are tremendous people to work with. I mean, they have really worked really hard on trying to get stuff done. Then on other things, we also put up a new salt building. I don't know if you've been down by the county garage. We worked really hard to get that done, because what's happened the last 2 winters, we had the worst winters in a decade, and we got caught with no salt. So we ended up going to the council. Council approved giving us the money to put up the new salt building. So that's helped us quite a bit. Except for this year, we didn't have too much of a winter. But that's money to bank for next year. So we did real good there. Then we ended up we had to put up a sheriff's storage building. It was state mandated that the sheriff have a storage building. So we ended up getting that put up. And then we ended up doing the community correction building there. And we just got that done. As a matter of fact, we're getting ready to have an open house coming up. I don't know exactly the date, but it's coming up here before long.
All right, thank you. This next one is for Mike McCullough. How does methamphetamine, impact Clay County? The question is, how can we fix it, and what is the cost to the county?
I'll come to the microphone now. Question is, how does methamphetamine affect Clay County? Is that what he said? Okay. Well, the county council is not really directly involved in trying to control the meth problem we have in the county. Of course, that's the sheriff's department and the courts. But I can tell you the trickle down of that is that the operation of the sheriff's department and the jail and the court system and the prosecutor's office, those 4 things that I just mentioned, probably eats up about 2/3 of our total budget that we deal with. I mean, law enforcement and housing inmates and so forth is very, very expensive to the taxpayers. I know the judges and the sheriff and the school corporation, they're all working very hard to try to help that situation. And I think we all know that problem is not just in Clay County. That's probably a nationwide problem, but it does cost you a lot of money, I can tell you, to keep those things going. So, okay.
And meth isn't the only drug that we have to deal with anymore. Heroin is out there as well as others. Okay, here's a kind of a general question. I'm not sure who it's addressed to. What law has passed that you would change and why? Who would like to tackle that? I don't know. So I don't ask the question, I just read them. If no one wants to tackle that, we'll go to this one here, which is actually addressed to each member of the county council, so you get to answer this. What attributes do you feel you can bring to our local government? Who wants to go first? Council? Yeah. Yeah.
You want to go first? What attributes do you bring?
Yep.
Well, myself, long before I was on the county council, I was in management of coal mines. I'm certified by the United States Bureau of Mines as a certification. Management is what I've been in for a total of 28 years. And I mean management where you had to do your job. If you didn't, you was replaced. So if you lasted that long, that meant you'd done your job that long. And we had to make money. If we didn't make no money, we weren't there. So I feel like to my job, I bring also an aspect for the veterans in the county. I like to help the veterans office down there as much as I can, and I do. And I go in there and see my colleagues all the time and do whatever I can. Me and Jim Bird talk a lot about that kind of thing. So I feel that I kind of bring to the county a total package, like being involved in things, farmland and everything else. So that's how I feel. There you go.
Okay, I've been involved with business around here for around most of my life. I was at the Brazil Times for 23 years. Part of that time as general manager, which required to do budgets, managing people. With that, we have a lot of experiences. You learn things. Starting out as a young boy, I was a newspaper carrier, and the first thing you learn as a newspaper carrier is, number one, you've got to collect your money. You've got to pay your bill on time. Sometimes you have money and sometimes you don't. My son Tyler, standing back there in the back, was also a newspaper carrier. And one thing that I've found through the years is keep the main thing, and to do what is right, regardless. And Kitty Crab, one time when I was out delivering Tyler's paper route, because Tyler got involved in wrestling, I was doing his paper route, and Kenny said, "What are you doing this paper route?" I said, "You're a general manager of the place." I said, "Well, Kenny, it's like this." I said, "Tyler's my son. We didn't have anybody do the paper route." And I said, "Kenny," I said, "I expect the other people to get a sub when they do that." And I said, if he needs a sub, I'm going to be his sub. I said, "He's my son, will always be my son. When this job is gone, when I'm no longer general manager of the newspaper, he'll still be my son." And so I tried to keep that as a focus of the main thing. Now I work at PDF, a local company out here, manufacturing. And at PDF, I am in charge of shipping and receiving. I have people work for me, manage people, manage business that comes in there. But what I found since I've been at PDF is our business feeds off to other businesses. Other businesses work with us. We buy things locally. We spend a lot of money with timberland. We spend a lot of money with other people around here. Other businesses spend money with us. And so it's more of a taking care of businesses around here working together. I see the importance of that and how this businesses will spin off other businesses and make them strong in this area. And anytime that you can do something to help your local business and see what they need and then supply that need, it's very important. And some of that would be through the county council, sometimes in the way of tax abatements. Sometimes in the way of infrastructure, when a company needs water, they need sewage, they need these different things. Somebody has to provide that. Some of that's done through the mayor here in the city and the city council. Some of that is county at times. And so it's important that we know what's going on in our community. As public safety, I've been involved with volunteer fire department, Posey Township out here in Staunton since 1995. I was the chief of the place. I've been assistant chief. I'm a captain right now. I see as more and more fire departments come in here and they become what you call fire district. It requires money flowing into them. On those fire budgets, there's things that they need and there's things that they want. You've got to distinguish the difference between that. What do they really need to run that department, and what are they putting in there as fluff that they want these different things? And I found out through the years that there's things that you may want that you really don't need. And it's important for somebody to understand that. What is the true needs of their public safety? I deal with the ambulance service. I deal with their sheriff's department, police departments, through accidents and different scenes that we're on. I see their needs at time, and as mentioned here, Matt, it's substance abuse all around. Substance abuse will affect the welfare of the family. It'll affect the children being abused. It'll affect the crime rate in an area. So all those things play hand in hand. So I think I bring that to the table, seeing what some of the needs are in our community.
I've been involved in so many things that I feel that I have a real understanding. I worked for the schools, Clay Community Schools, for 11 years, so I understand the needs of the schools and the children. And I worked at Hamilton Center for 20 years as office manager, and I understand the needs of mental health. I also have a combined 21 years experience on the council, and I was church secretary, so, and also was vice president of the Mental Health Association. So I feel like I really understand the needs of people. I was instrumental in helping getting the nutrition program started back in the 70s, and it's still going.
I believe what I bring to the table would be my experience in business. As I said earlier, I was in the insurance business, well, I still am, but was more active in the insurance business for 30 years. 25 years of that was management. And as management in the insurance business, you got to set and meet quotas, do budgets, hire people, train people. You got to wear a lot of hats. And I believe I'm qualified because of the hats I've worn at all different aspects of the journey through being self-employed. That's about it.
I mentioned that I have 19 years experience on the county council. I believe that's a definite attribute. I will say that I know I've made decisions over the years that have upset some people, but if you're going to hold public office, that's going to happen. It's impossible to please everybody all the time, I can tell you that. Everybody that's in office knows that. I also have my own business that I started in 1981, and it's just me. I'm a sole proprietorship, so I have to make that a go. I certainly haven't gotten rich doing it, but I've made a decent living at it. I've always been very active in the community. I served on the board of directors of the YMCA when we did the fundraiser to build this facility. I've served on the board of directors of the Chamber of Commerce. I'm currently the vice president of the Clay County Community Foundation. And by the way, I'm sure you all know we've had a major fundraiser with that we'll be making an announcement on the final results of that a week from today. I've been active with the Farm Bureau. Council members, we don't really have any direct effect on the Farm Bureau, but we do get involved, or we can get involved with a lot of the activities that the Farm Bureau is doing. So those things all combined, I feel like I bring a lot to the table.
Boy, how long do I have? Okay. I feel like that I bring a lot of various types of skills to the table. Like I said, I graduated from Indiana State University in education. I taught a short period of time. I then went to work in the coal mines. Was a supervisor at the coal mines as well. Once the coal mine shut down, I went to work for workforce development. I was a peer counselor for those guys that were laid off from the mine who needed to get, because of the Clean Air Act, needed to get new jobs because of the high sulfur coal not being able to be produced. Did that right here in this county, out of an office here on Wabash with workforce development. Did that for 5 years. Went to work then, after I left that, went to work for the college. And I've been there ever since. And in the college, I've held many roles, as I said before. I was a program manager. I was a campus manager, site manager. And in those positions, sat on many boards for the president of the college, for the local chancellor here at the Wabash Valley region. Work with many of the students here in the county. So I do know and can bring a lot of that aspect to it. I also own a small business as well. So I do know the struggles that a small business owner has and how taxes and all those sorts of things can affect us as well. I've also served on the Red Cross Finance Committee of the Wabash Valley for five years in the past. I'm no longer on that. Was a volunteer at the YMCA for over 15 years in many different aspects and roles. Coach, referee, those kinds of things. So work with the youth. Also the Clay Youth League. Over 400 kids there every year, and that program is a wonderful program that our kids can be involved in. So I feel like that with all of that, I have many aspects that I can bring to the table with a background of finance, leadership. There are hard decisions that have to be made sometimes. But as Mike said, you have to do that, unfortunately. So I believe that I could help the county out in that way.
Okay, thank you very much. That actually is all the written questions that we have. I might mention that there were a few candidates who could not make it tonight. County Council at-large candidate Robert Walters on the Democratic side was not present. And on the Republican side, Dave Ammerman and Patrick Doherty were not present. And candidate for Commissioner Jeff Thompson was not present. I'm sure they had very good reasons. Good, we got another one. This is to County Council members. What is done with the monthly $100,000 plus in revenue received from the ICE program or ICE program? Is this revenue part of the 2/3 county budget used on courts and prosecutors and so on? And was the revenue originally tagged for deputies and jailers? So this is for council members who'd like to tackle that first.
You're referring to the ICE program.
Yes.
The ICE program, last year, I think brought in around, I don't have the exact figures in front of me, but around $700,000. The money goes into the county general fund. We have tried to use it to help the sheriff's department with purchase of vehicles. We have not used it to, now, we had to hire a couple of additional jailers specifically for that program. So some of the money is used for payroll. We've been very leery to use that money in our payroll area for fear that if the program goes away and we obligate ourselves to additional employees or pay raises based on those funds and the program goes away, then we're stuck. Hopefully it won't. There's no indication that it will go away, but it's always possible. So we're trying to be very careful with those funds so that it doesn't come back to bite us. And probably in the future, we've bought some vehicles with that money. The ICE program has a couple of vans that they transport these people to Chicago so they can be flown out of the country. We've purchased those vans with that money. We're trying mainly to use the money for one-time purchases that doesn't obligate us long-term in case the program goes away. Anybody else want to comment on that? Pat, John?
I will.
Brad?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. We also purchased 2 new police dogs for the county.
Yeah, true, we did. Oh, and the new computer software program.
Yes.
Thank you, John.
The jail wasn't even in compliance until here a year ago or so that we finally got the jail in compliance with the state police and Brazil City Police. So everybody is on the same computer equipment. You know, when you call in, I mean, we're all together. The state police and everybody is together on one deal. Before that we were totally outdated. We used ICE money for that. And we have 50,000 or a little better now we need to spend on the jail to even be in compliance with ICE to house those prisoners. The ICE money is not just this one-way street. You have to spend 40% or so to help maintain the program because we are under federal obligation to keep the jail where those prisoners are, to keep the jail in certain condition. And I know I went down there, and Mike, I'm sure, went down there, and we inspected that jail, and we're in the process right now, and Paul Harden is, we're trying to get that done. And there's just several things that come up with the ICE program that people don't realize, like Mike said, the purchasing of the vans and different things like that really register. And so we try to keep that coming out of ICE money and keep that up, because you don't know where you're at until you put your P's and Q's together. But one thing the county did to set that ICE program up, I think we had about 100,000 or 80, maybe 80 to 100,000 in that program. We had to buy the vans and stuff. And then Mike Heaton, we didn't even know when we were going to get that first ICE check. So it was pretty, So right now, like Mike said, that's probably about what we got. But we have spent a lot of money on that program to maintain that program and then try to help to use any excess we have, as to what the county would need at the jail if we can. That's what we'd like to do. So that's about where we're at on the ICE program. Pat, you got anything you want to say on that?
I think the two of you said it all.
By the way, the computer software program that John referred to, that cost us around $400,000. And the sheriff's department had been wanting that for 2 or 3 years, and we just didn't have the funds to purchase it. So we used ICE money to buy that.
We've turned them down ever since I've been on the county council, then we finally got the ICE money and then we got it done. We were pretty piecemeal situation.
Hopefully it runs on Windows 10, right? Okay, those are all of the written questions we have. Is there anyone on the floor tonight who would like to just stand up and ask a question? Okay. And before we go, Marshall sitting over there is guarding the cookies and the tea.
Help yourself, guys. We got
All
one out.
has to be eaten before we can leave tonight. But I would like for everyone who is currently holding an office in Clay County or has held an office in the past to please stand. Did you do that? Wow.
Including us?
Okay, let's give these guys a hand. We really appreciate people that step forward and take a leadership role in whatever office they choose to hold. It's very, very important that we do that here in Clay County. And I've lived in Clay County now for about 17 years and been working here since 1990. And despite some of the issues that we have, like all counties do, it's a great place to live, and that's because of all of you. So, Chandra, is there anything else we need to say? Then eat and drink and visit, and we are concluded for our candidate forum tonight. Be sure and vote next May 3rd.
Mike, I want to thank Brazil Times and also the Clay City News for being here tonight.
Well, how did things go tonight at this forum?
Well, I thought it was very beneficial to the public who's here, and it kind of got the word out council members were the main ones tonight, but we got some good issues that what's going on in the county. So I feel like it's very worthwhile.
And how many people did we have here?
The way I counted, we had close to 50 people here, counting the council members, the elected people and the people running. So it was very worthwhile. Thank you guys for coming.